Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever received a bill from your medical provider or dentist, someone who is in the medical profession that utilizes your medical insurance to provide services to you, or utilizes an insurance to provide services to you, and then all of a sudden you got a bill from them, and you were like, "Well, this is not right." Um, I don't owe this money. My insurance was supposed to take care of it. Or maybe your insurance lapsed and it didn't get taken care of. I'm going to give you a solution for that so you can, have a fighting chance of either if they're trying to sue you in court, like the one that I'm looking at here that we're helping this client with, or if you find yourself where there's just medical bills that you know that there was an issue with either the amount of the service or there was an issue with your insurance. So before I get to that, and I kind of talked about this with my business uh, on my business YouTube channel. If you want to look that up as Blue Book Milwaukee, you can look that up as Blue Book Milwaukee. That's my uh, YouTube channel for my advertising company. And I've talked about this with my business clients when we do Zoom calls. And today I went to it was an event for my grandson, my 4-year-old grandson at his school, and they had the grandparents' day, and me and my wife were there, and then my son-in-law's mother and father was there, and one of the things that caught my attention was that there was number one, it was very like 99% participation where people had both grandparents or multiple, like what we were for my grandson. And but what caught my attention was that there was one young one little boy without anyone there for him, and there was a girl without anyone there for them. Now, the teachers did sit next to him, uh, but I look at it this way because I'm not the type of person that's going to make some type of assumptions that they didn't, grandparents didn't want to be there, or maybe their grandparents are not living. But I would think that someone would have showed up knowing that all of the other grandparents could be there. And this relates to what people are going through with their credit and having too much debt. When you have your credit under control, you automatically have your debt under control. Some people say that it's not true, that you can make all the payments and everything uh, and still be living paycheck to paycheck. That is true, but at some point you would be of sound mind to be able to get yourself in order. And I think that one of the reasons, potential reasons why the young man and the young lady did not have anyone there is that they potentially could be doing work. Like they're of the grandparents' age, but they have to work. And maybe the parents didn't show up because they have to work. And so it's very important. And a good friend of mine that I've known for, I think, going on 32 years, he and I grew up in business together. He he was like, we had a phone conversation yesterday, and he was talking about that people need to own more than just things. They need to own, if they're a business, they need to, you got to start thinking of where you can take more control of your life. And I, talk about it all the time on the basis of credit and getting out of debt like that if you don't have bad credit, you have more confidence, you can get approved for things when you need it, that you're going to pay lower interest rates, and then getting out of debt so you can not have so many payments going out and stuff over your head. I talk about this because this is how I live. This is how I live. I don't have much debt, like very little debt. And I don't buy new cars and stuff to have payments over and over again. I'll drive my car and and keep it in good shape. I have a Range Rover that's a 2016, and what year is it right now? 2022. I haven't had to make payments on that car for years, and that money goes into my pocket to be invested in other things rather than just going out there buying all types of material items. And I don't know. I'm just saying that it did. I just kept looking over at them just to see how they were managing themselves. Because when you have people, to be 4 years old, I'm telling you, from the ages of 1 to 7 years old, children are finding their identity. They're taking in what's happening to them. Their mind is like making connections, and the, for and experiences that hurt actually lock in our mind a lot more than experiences that are good. That's why if someone says something bad about you, you'll remember that or you'll think about that. Someone says something good about you, it would, you have to have a whole audience clapping for you to really pay attention on the good that you're doing. But if one person is booing you in an audience of thousands of people, you would focus on that. Like that's where we need to start understanding on how and what we do to our children from that age and what we do to ourselves, that we have to start changing our mind to flip away from that. But when a child is in that developmental stage, we have to be very careful because that those two children could feel that they're really left alone, even though they're not left alone, just from the impression of what they're seeing. And we know that children do what they see more than what we tell them. So let's talk about it real quick. Had a client came to us and he like had a dental bill, and he was sorry about the clicking here. Had a dental bill. Put that on silent. Had a dental bill, and he was saying, they're trying to come after me for this money, and I had insurance. And what they wrote in their complaint is that the individual ended up not having insurance. So I'm gonna take this from two different approaches. We're gonna take it from if you had insurance, or if you had insurance and then they're claiming you didn't have insurance or the insurance didn't pay everything, or if you didn't have insurance. Now that you might be thinking, well, Steve, how am I not going to have to pay if I didn't have insurance? Let me tell you exactly how this works. So first, let's take it for if you have insurance. For this specific information, what happened was that they actually did the insurance card and then made them do a copay because of the insurance card. They authorized it, and then they did the copay, and so the client was like, "Hey, I'm good. You authorized my insurance, and now you're providing the service." Well, a little bit later, they came back and they stated that you did not have insurance, and that there was a balance that they wanted to have paid. So now let's take it from that standpoint. If you go through a process where you're given your insurance, unless something is totally not done right with this provider, they have to get an authorization when they're utilizing insurance. They can't just, you know, take a stamp of the card and just provide the service. They have to actually get an authorization. I know this because I actually own a health medical service provider company, and we don't do nothing without an authorization. There's been times where uh, we had to have clients wait until we get that authorization, and but we tell them that we cannot move forward with services until we get that authorization. Because if you don't have the authorization, you're not going to get paid. And if we were to provide the service and the authorization was not right, or something was messed up, or we made a mistake or whatever, the insurance company will not pay because you did not have prior authorization. And so, with if you have insurance And even if it lapses, like, and they do an authorization, the insurance, their dispute is going to be with the insurance company, not with you. Now, not to say that they're not going to try to come after you, but that insurance, that dispute would be between them, not between you and the provider, because they got the authorization. They would not be providing the service without the authorization. And also, because they went an extra step and they said the only thing you have to pay is a copay. That's what they said to our client. That even shows that there must have been some sort of authorization process, or maybe the person in the office didn't do their job, but that's not up to the individual client. All they do is give their insurance card and follow what they tell you to do. Now, on the other side, let's just say you went in there and you did not have insurance. You even knew you didn't have insurance. Any reputable provider, medical provider, would give you a complete breakdown of what the costs and the services and everything would be uh, for providing the service. What we're seeing happen, and that's why the No Surprises Act was enacted, was because what was happening with medical providers, insurance companies, that they did not, sometimes they were out of network, and the individual who took the service did not know that it was out of network, and they were not provided a full breakdown of what the cost of each service that would be provided, how much that would be. They are required by law, if you have insurance and you go to have services in a non network, like a hospital that's not in your network, that hospital must give you a breakdown of everything before providing a service. So they give you the opportunity to deny the service. Even if it's emergency room, they still have to have someone review that. If you don't have insurance and you just go in and you want services, they are still required by the No Surprise Act to provide you a detailed breakdown of every service, it, everything. They can't just say, well, we put you on the table and took your blood pressure, and but they just have one full charge for that. No, they have to break down for putting you there. They have to break down for whatever the room time is. They have to give you a breakdown of taking your blood pressure with the nurse, the pills, anything that they give you, any prescriptions they write, whatever they do, they have to break that down and give it to you. And now you might be saying, well, they don't know what they got to do. They do know what they have to do, because if you go to the hospital, either emergency room or whatever, for regular visit, they're going to know, have a baseline of what is going to happen. They're going to know they're going to take your blood pressure. They're going to, whatever you're coming in for, they're going to have to do, check that out, and potentially any medications or anything that are not covered, or things that they're going to give you automatically just to get you over until you get your medication from the pharmacy. They have to break that stuff down. They can't just say, this is the bill, and that's it. So, utilizing the No Surprises Act, utilizing the information that they must get an authorization if you do have insurance, and they can't come back and say, well, your insurance didn't pay, or there was a problem that the way it was entered or whatever. They can't come with that excuse, because they've provided you the services under the uh, even if it wasn't a true authorization, they told you it was authorized and you did your copay, which would be normal. If you didn't have insurance, they are not allowed to do the services. And you can go to and read the No Surprises Act for yourself to see that there's a section in there for charges that are out of network that might be passed on to you because your insurance won't pay it, and there's a section in there for individuals who do not have insurance on what the medical provider must do before they provide the services, and that you have to sign off on. All right, I hope that that information helps you. Um, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process. and my two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. And if you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3 pack of letters, statute of limitations, debt validation, cease and desist. Please make a donation. If you get those, it helps me monetize the time on the channel. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments. Thank you for your time.